The following is a feature presentation of our nation's sports show. They say that anything can happen in the month of March. It's not just me saying it, others say it as well. The entire sports world for the past week has been consumed by the madness taking place. Tonight on a Nation Sports Show, we analyze the first two rounds of the greatest tournament in sports. We recap March Madness. The first two rounds of March Madness have had everything and then some. From unbelievable shots, sending games into overtime, unbelievable buzzer beaters, and heartbreaking losses on the brink of victory. Tonight, we preview the Sweet 16. Next week, we recap the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8, and we preview the Final Four. Tonight, we also bring to you the latest breaking news in the NFL, the NBA, and more. It's showtime.
Good up to the court, talking all that is sport, breaking down the latest news, scores, and more. Welcome to our Nation Sports Show.
Awkward silence. Welcome, everybody, to the show. How's everybody doing? Happy Tuesday. You know what that means. It is our nation's sports show. We appreciate you guys for joining us as always. And we got a loaded show for you tonight. It's going to be a lot of talk, man. And it's mainly going to be about that NCAA tournament that's going on, man. And it just keeps building. This past weekend, we had some shocking wins. All the brackets are busted. And it's, man, what a crazy weekend it's been. And we're going to get into all that with the NCAA tournament. Plus, we got some NBA news, including the resetting of a certain position. The market of a certain position in the NFL was reset this week by a certain young athlete who's really made a name for himself. And we're going to talk about that as well. But we're also going to get into some other big news throughout the NBA, NFL, including an unfortunate injury that took place in the NBA, a gruesome injury. We're going to get into that as well. Also, we're going to talk about the passing of a legend, not only in the world of movies and television, passing in the world of combat sports. You could pretty much, or combat in martial arts, you can guess who that is. So we're going to get into all that in just a few minutes. But first, let's bring in the people who are with us tonight. Joining us for at least the first hour and change of the show today is our good old buddy who hasn't started a show with us in a while because he's been busy with life. And that's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. Ladies and gentlemen, JT, don't call him Timberlake Thornton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Good to be here for at least the first hour and maybe some change. Looking forward to talking some sports, especially some March Madness talk. So without further ado, Let's do this thing.
Yes, sir. And we got with me right here a heavy metal brother who also loves his country music just as much as well. You may find him sleepless in a hotel room in the middle of a hurricane, but it's okay because this man, when it rains, it pours. He knows how to make it work. Ladies and gentlemen, he definitely gets the best of me when it comes to this show. Stephen Wyand, what's going on, man?
Well, I say that's good enough. What's going on, everybody? Yes, if you don't know these references, it
No,
is
well,
the
the first references are Luke Combs, my friend.
well, absolutely yes. But obviously, as it got down the line,
Yes.
yes. 40th anniversary today, 5150. The first Van Halen album with the legendary Sammy Hagar. And speaking of the great Luke Combs as well, shout outs to him because he just broke the all time attendance record at Allegiant Stadium. 77,000 people in attendance for his concert on Saturday. So congrats to him. And on the brand new single that dropped last week, really good stuff. And yeah, speaking of really, really good stuff, tonight, March Madness is already underway. And we have you covered here tonight. Incredible, incredible stuff over the weekend. Incredible game winning shots, monster performances by Michigan State, by Arkansas, a shocking upset against the defending champions, and the Florida Gators are out of here. And we nearly had another number one going down against a number 16. But that did not happen because Duke weathered the storm and survived. And UNC had a very competitive game against VCU in the end. Did not go to Tar Heels' way, but that's just the way the ball goes sometimes. And obviously, like you mentioned, we got some news to talk about in the NFL because somebody just got paid today. A pocket full of change. And with that being said, let's do this.
Yeah, at least it ain't a holler for a dollar, fuck for a buck, doing something strange for a little piece of change. At least it ain't that. But no, yeah, definitely want to say real quick, happy 40th to Van Halen 5150, the first album to feature Sammy Hagar, of course, the Montrose and the Soul Stuff on vocals, legendary landmark album. Songs like Love Walks In, Good Enough, Summer Nights. I mean, hot, damn it.
Dreams,
That's the one I was
best of
going
both
for.
worlds.
Best of both worlds. Just an unbelievable record.
Of course, the biggest single on the album, Why Can't This Be Love? I mean, that was just a huge hit.
Yes, definitely. Congratulations to that. And Luke Combs' new album dropped Friday, 22 tracks. Album's called The Way I Am, which includes the new single, which includes one of the latest singles, Sleepless in a Hotel Room, which is a monster song. Also want to give love to fellow WWE, seems like star musician Jelly Roll as well. Check out his new single called Thorns, a beautiful tribute to his lovely wife, Bunny, who's been with him every step of the way the past 15 years, helping get his life together. So, congratulations. So, Jelly Roll's got that monster new single out too, so check that out. But let's get into it, and we're gonna start off on a sad note, unfortunately, and that is the passing of a legend. And by that I mean one of the greatest legends in the sport of martial arts, an actor, a TV star, a film star, the man who you saw late at night or in the mornings on Total Gym infomercials, the man whose jokes became a meme for the past 15 to 20 years, and that is, of course, the legendary Chuck Norris. Chuck died last week at the age of 88 or 86 years old due to some health complications. We don't know all the details right now. He was in Hawaii and went to the hospital and unfortunately did not make it out. Passing of a huge legend, as many of you know, from Walker, Texas Ranger. He's been in a ton of movies. He's known, of course, Enter the Dragon with Bruce Lee. He's been in The Expendables. He's been in a ton of movies. I mean, we could talk about his movie credentials, and obviously the famous Chuck Norris jokes were an absolute meme since I was in high school. One quick story, I used to carry around a folder or folders that had Chuck Norris jokes on them and pictures of Chuck Norris. I got it at Walmart, and I would carry a list in it. You just made the list. and it's a list of the top 100 Chuck Norris jokes and facts. And one more to add to it before I send it over to anybody else, and that is when it came time for Chuck Norris to leave, the Grim Reaper didn't come to get Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris called the Grim Reaper and said, "I'm ready." And rest in peace to the icon, the legend, the man who made us laugh, fear him, do everything in between, Chuck Norris.
What can I say other than the fact that you just summed it all up, Ezra? Chuck Norris was a living, breathing legend. I mean, the amazing work that he did and the various roles that he was in, including his most famous, and of course, Walker, Texas Ranger, and all the other movies that he was a part of throughout his entire lifetime. Um, yeah, and his jokes literally made Kevin, myself, and Steven laugh all throughout high school. And I know and I know Steven remembers those days very well, and I'm sure Kevin does too, as
Yes, and
well
I
as I
know
do.
I can speak for you guys. I can speak for Kevin as well. We would always sit around in the cafeteria and just Kevin and you would be spatting off these Chuck Norris jokes and we would be in stitches. It's just hilarious how for 15, 20 plus years he was the ultimate meme. Like his jokes were legendary. People were coming up with their
Yes,
own jokes when it comes to sports, when it comes to the entertainment industry, when it comes to anything, movies, sports, even wrestling and phones and
yes,
you name it. I mean, he was everywhere, all over the world. I mean, just legendary movies, legendary figure no matter what he did. Very motivational as well. And also, yes, we approved of all of his messages because after all, Chuck Norris is and will always be a legend, and legends never die. And just what a career, what a legacy. And he also, for those that don't know, made an appearance in the WWF back in the day at the 94, I believe it was the Survivor Series.
Yep, in the famous casket match with Yokozuna.
Yup.
wow,
So even Chuck Norris makes appearances in the world of professional wrestling. So
Yep.
again, like you guys have said, we here at our Nation Sports Show and everybody all over the world, we are paying tribute to one of the greatest legends that ever walked the face of this planet. Rest in peace to the legendary, the one, the only Chuck Norris.
yeah, and I will leave y'all with this Chuck Norris joke real fast that I just came up with. It took one call to Chuck Norris to make John Cena stop being invisible. But rest in peace to Chuck. Prayers and condolences up to his family, his friends, and everybody who worked with him. May you rest in peace, Chuck.
Yes, definitely rest in peace to the legend, the icon, Mr. Chuck freaking Norris. I'm telling you, man. And if you want to get a little tidbit, check out the world famous YouTube series known as Epic Rap Battles of History. And look up Abe Lincoln versus Chuck Norris. It will absolutely leave you dying laughing. It is one of the
I'll def-
coolest things ever. Two guys
I'll
dressed
de-
as Abe
I'll
Lincoln and
definitely
Chuck
have to check
Norris
that out.
battle rapping. Dude, it's one of the greatest things ever, Joe. You will absolutely. And they have other ones too. Darth Vader versus Adolf Hitler, which they did
Oh God.
three different parts on.
Oh God.
They've done, I think, they've done different characters against different characters. Those are just some of my favorites. And then one of my most recent ones is Deadpool versus Boba Fett.
Oh God.
It's dude, they're all great. They're fucking just hysterical.
uh,
If you want somebody, if you're bored, and they're literally maybe 3 minutes apiece, 2 to 3 minutes apiece, and they're in costume. They got people in costume, or it's the people themselves who do the rapping in full costume doing it.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to check that out. Mm.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. But I got to tell you this funny thing real quick. I just saw a clip of the new as you know, AEW real quick. I want to just say this funny thing. AEW does this thing. It's called Up Close with Renee Paquette. Close Up with Renee Paquette. Excuse me. And they had Cope and Christian on, and Christian goes as talking about you know what's important to them. He said, Christian goes, as great as it's been to take a little stroll down memory lane here, we also make a ton of money together, and that's what's important to me. And in complete Christian style, stone face, no laughter, no nothing. And he's like, after what everybody's been through, after what I've been through, after what Beth has been through, I deserve to get myself a new luxury watch. Just never change, Christian. Christian's a dick.
He
Um,
is and will always be a dick.
so um well, man, we got a
Terrific.
lot to get into. Let's go ahead and get into the NCAA tournament. And from what I've been reading, and I will disclaimer this, unfortunately, due a lot of situations out of my control, and of course, C2E2's return to, or 2E2 Cosplay's return to C2E2, excuse me, this weekend, I had been super busy and had not been able to watch most of the games. I did watch the end of Nebraska versus Vanderbilt, and that's one of the games we will talk about. But luckily, I've got the two-headed monster who listened or watched most of these games this weekend. So, gentlemen, I'm going to have you guys lead the floor. Steven, why don't you go ahead and kick us off?
I mean, well, one of the first games that really stand out for me is on Saturday. You had VCU versus North Carolina. And this game was crazy because North Carolina was up 19 points in the first half into the second half. And they just kept jacking up all these threes and not taking the shots inside the paint and just kind of relaxing on the defensive side of the basketball and just letting VCU make a comeback. Okay, it's getting kind of competitive. And then VCU just goes on this insane run to close the gap, tied the game. North Carolina steals the inbounds pass, has a shot to win the game, and the shot was missed on the 3-point attempt, and it went to overtime. And this is where the wheels fell off the proverbial wagon for North Carolina because the turnovers, the bad shot selection, a lot of isolation ball. Just as a fan, even of Duke, but more importantly, as a fan of basketball, if the 3-point shot is not falling for you, take the ball inside for the love of God. Like insane how Davis and his coaching staff did not change anything about their game plan because there was a lot of times where they were not taking the ball inside, and even when they did, they weren't capitalizing, especially on the free throws. You got to make your free throws. If you don't make your free throws in basketball, you're not gonna win, and you don't deserve to win. And just it was a total epic collapse by North Carolina. And for a second straight year, the Tar Heels are out during the round of 64.
Stephen, it's very interesting that you start off with that game because I got a mind blowing stat for you regarding that game.
What's that?
Um, Carolina took eight, eight field goal attempts in that overtime period. Do you know how many they made? None.
Unbelievable.
Not a single field goal was made in that overtime period. All their 5 points came on free throws.
Yep. And for the first couple of minutes, nobody could buy a bucket in overtime. It was almost like there was a lid on the basket, just like shot it up. Lids, the net said denied.
Yep.
I mean, just unbelievable. And speaking of unbelievable, speaking of Duke, might as well go 2 for 2, or Chuck Woolery would say 2 and 2. Duke was up against Siena, and for about 25, 30 some odd minutes, Siena was in the lead. And not just any lead. Yes, you're about to hear this right. A double-digit lead against the number one overall seed Duke Blue Devils. They were
It
up
was
by
40.
Go
It was
ahead.
40. It was 43-32 at halftime. Siena.
Unbelievable. And at one point, it was a 13-point lead. They had Duke on the ropes in this game. And then Duke made that big monster run, and they came back and they ended up pulling away. But for a good chunk of the game, it was really shaky. And Joey, you said it to me on the phone today that if Duke would have lost to Siena, North Carolina fans would have never let that down.
Nope.
Never. Because that would have exceeded North Carolina's epic collapse. And I got a stat. Well, it's not really a stat, but it's a funny coincidental thing that happened after our phone call. My phone, and all of us sports fans are going to get this. The length of our phone call today, and I am not kidding you. My phone, which is a phone that it's a built screen reader for the visually impaired and blind. It's designed for people like us who are visually impaired or blind, and it said call ended 28 minutes and 3 seconds.
No.
28 minutes and 3 seconds. When I heard that, I started dying. I'm like, I hope Joey's on the show because I got to say this on the show. 28 minutes and 3 seconds.
Dang, that sports meme is never gonna get old.
And it just so happened to interfere in our phone call, which is hilarious. But oh man, that was perfect timing if I do say so myself.
Yes,
But
that was
anyway,
great.
the fact that Duke almost lost to a number 16. Of course, they don't have the honor, if you want to call it that, or dishonorable mention of being the first to do it because Virginia was the one that did it back in 2018 when they were the first team to lose to a number 16 in the round of 64, which is quite hilarious into itself. And then the next year they won it all in
8 years
2019.
ago.
Yep, hard to believe. Hard
And
to
then Purdue
believe.
and then Purdue repeated then Purdue repeated it 5 years later when they lost to Fairleigh Dickinson.
Yep, and an incredible shot also. Stole the inbounds pass, shot a three, boom, done. Then it happened to Virginia again. I think it did. But anyways, as far as another game that just jumped off the grid for me, that Kentucky Santa Clara game on Friday was bonkers. Incredible
That
game.
was, oh my God, what a game to kick off Friday's action. I'm going to talk about that whenever it goes to me, but Steven, you go in and continue, buddy.
I mean, Ortega, what a shot for the ages to tie the game at 73, sending the game into overtime, and then Kentucky pulls away in the end. But Santa Clara had nothing to be ashamed of themselves because they gave these Wildcats a run for their money in this game. Like, it was insanely good. Great game. Another game that jumps up, and I know we're jumping around with these games because this is just off the top of our heads. But as far as moving over to the Saturday schedule, two games that jump off the grid for me. The first game is the fact that Texas, they won their first two games to get in. They won their first game to get in on a crazy game as well. I believe, didn't they beat NC State 68 to 66? They did. Okay.
They did.
They beat NC State 68-66 on a game-winning shot almost at the buzzer. So that was crazy. Then they win their game in the round of 64. And then on Saturday against Gonzaga, what a complete shocking upset because Gonzaga, who's always been this, perennial, favorites to make it deep into the tournament, and they've always made a good run for it, whether it be Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final 4, National Championship game. They've been around, this tournament, no matter who's on their squad. But the fact that Texas, the Longhorns, have absolutely gone on this incredible run, They have won their first three games, punching their ticket to the Sweet 16. What an incredible victory against Gonzaga on Saturday afternoon. And that was one of the upsets of the weekend. But the one that also jumps off the grid for me when it comes to Saturday, and we're going to talk about this when we get to that game, Nebraska Vanderbilt. What a sporting event. I don't give a shit who you root for in sports. If you are not on the edge of your seat during that game, then my friend, you ain't got a fucking pulse in your body. Because that was a sporting event for the ages. You had Nebraska fans who, mind you, traveled 6.5 hours, 400 plus miles to get to this game in Oklahoma City. That was like a home game if it was a home game, because the fact that Nebraska's fan base traveled so far to root for their basketball team, and shout outs to Vanderbilt too, because their fan base showed up and showed out. What a sporting event, what a great game. And unfortunately somebody had to lose that great game. Just what a great game.
Yeah.
So good, so good, absolutely so good of a game. It lived up to the hype. And I pound for pound for my money, the Nebraska and Vanderbilt game was the best game of the weekend. I'm gonna kick it to you, Joey. What are some games that kind of jump off the grid for you?
Well, I will say the first game that really kicked it off for me was the very first game that was broadcasted. TCU and Ohio State.
Mm,
Those two teams went back and forth and back and forth. Nobody was able to pull away. Nobody was able to even accumulate as much a 6 point lead. That's how close these two teams fought and fought and fought. I
mm-hmm.
was like, oh my gosh, this game is going to come down to the wire here. And Ohio State, that last second heave at the buzzer that fell just short, I was like, oh man.
It was the same effect during the Nebraska Vanderbilt game on Saturday afternoon. It was crazy. I mean, and I remember one of the commentators on the Westwood One broadcast said, "Man, if that's any indication of what we're about to be in store for," and I'm like, "Yeah, dude, you're not lying, because that game right there, that set the tempo. I mean, for this tournament, and it's had its ups and downs. I know there's been some blowouts, which, mind you, they set the record already for the men's side, 19 blowouts, 19. The record was 18. We're already at 19. Un
Wow.
Unreal." But in the mixture of all these ass whippings, you had some really close games that happened over the weekend. Just incredible, incredible basketball for the most part that was played. And just again, like, it is hard to believe how quickly this tournament can go by in the blink of an eye. And you know, before I throw at you, another game that just popped out of my head is that Duke game on Saturday. Man, they were on the ropes there for a little bit, because again, Duke was, up and down, for the most part. They were letting teams hang around, and then Cam Boozer was struggling in that game on Saturday, but he got it going. He got it going in that second half, and he took over the second half. And I mean, if Duke is going to be tested already, they better be sure that they're locked and loaded, ready to go in the Sweet 16, because you cannot let a team like St. John's get ahead on you either. I don't care who you are, because it's a proven fact in the world of NCAA basketball and the March Madness tournament that any team can be beaten. Any team can be beaten. And Duke, I mean, they've had their struggles of ups and downs. I mean, like we touched on with the game against Siena on Friday, they almost blew that game. Or was it Friday? Was it Thursday? Right, Thursday. Thursday. It was
Yeah,
Thursday.
Thursday. Yep.
Thursday,
Yeah.
Thursday, Thursday.
Uh, but but anyways, yeah, the Duke has had their ups and downs, during this tournament so far. When they got it going, they show why they're the number one overall seed. But man, as the competition gets heavy, you're gonna have to really play 40 solid minutes of basketball, because you cannot take any possessions off. You got to remain locked in. And TCU gave Duke a run for their money on Saturday, but Duke ended up pulling away in the second half. And it's crazy because this game was tied up at 44 apiece. And then Cam Boozer and the rest of the Blue Devils just took over in the second half, and it was not even close the rest of the way.
Nope.
Another game that
But
kind of,
yeah,
oh, go ahead.
I was saying I'm gonna go day by day as far as games that stood out to me. Another game that stood out to me was technically a blowout, but I'm gonna bring it up because it was
Bring it
the
up then.
first. It was the first win in March Madness tournament history for the last Power Four school to win one, and that was the Nebraska Cornhuskers. When they beat
Mm-hmm.
Troy 76-47, that was their first ever win in the NCAA tournament in program history. So kudos to them for that. Um, and then another game that stood out to me was a absolute shocker to me, and that was our first real upset of the day on Thursday. And for that, I want to give a big shout out to a North Carolina university that's located up in the Triad, as in the High Point Panthers shocking
Yes.
the Wisconsin Badgers.
Number
And
three
that was
seed going down.
it was a 12/5 actually.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But yeah, shout out to High Point for winning their first NCAA tournament game in program history as well.
Shocking. Shocking. It was a
Uh,
close game. It was very competitive. And Wisconsin just again, this is why we love this tournament because any team can win these games because like just when you think, yeah, I got this one in the bag, and then the underdog can just come striking quick and take you down. And
yep.
High Point, who would have thought that High Point would have a victory in this tournament and North Carolina didn't this year? Like crazy.
Yeah, speaking of Carolina, here's what they did in their game against VCU. They choked. You were up by freaking 19 points, and you let VCU come back, force the game into overtime, and then beat y'all in overtime?
Yep.
Please.
I didn't
Yeah.
know if that was choking or indigestion.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, Coach Hubert Davis, but I think it's time for you to go.
Yep. And speaking of High
Another
Point, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, another game on Thursday that stood out to me was the complete embarrassment by one SEC school known as the Georgia Bulldogs, losing by 25 points to the St. Louis Billikens, 102-77. What in the world was going on with the Georgia Bulldogs? Because they certainly weren't playing basketball, that's for sure.
No, they were not.
I mean, my gosh.
That's still not as bad as the Yukon women yesterday.
Oh dear God! Don't even get me started about
Woo! That was
don't even get
bad.
me started about that one.
That
Now, no,
literally, real quick, that looked like a literal score from NBA 2K.
no, 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 no,
Somebody
no, no,
jacked up
no,
all of the stats, and then the computer team had their stats jotted down 20%.
no, 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 no. I'll give you a score from the women's side that was even more embarrassing than that one. How about South Carolina beat Southern 103-34?
Holy smokes! Oh, that is bad.
Yeah, that is
Oh,
horrible. That is horrible. But yeah, going into Friday's action, that Santa Clara, Kentucky game, top notch perfection. What a game to kick off on Friday. Santa Clara literally hits a 3-pointer with 2.4 seconds to go up by three. And then Otega Owe, whose brother, Odafe Owe, is now on the Washington Commanders, might I add. But Otega Owe puts up a prayer at the buzzer, and that thing goes right off the backboard, swish, sends the game into overtime. And I was like, Oh my God! What a game to kick off Friday! Oh, it was great. Absolutely great. Let's see. No other games really stood out to me on Friday, but I will say shout out to another North Carolina school, Queens University, making their first ever appearance in the NCAA tournament in their first year of existence as a Division One school. They did get the brakes beat off of them at the hands of Purdue, but still, shout out to Queens University for making their first ever trip in their first year of existence as a D1 school.
Very cool.
Um, yeah, that's pretty much it for Friday. So moving into Saturday, let's see. Yeah, definitely Texas over Gonzaga. That was a great game. Vanderbilt over Nebraska. That was good. High Point actually giving Arkansas a run for their money before they eventually lost by 6, 94-88. That was great.
Yeah, that game was very competitive, and it looked like High Point was going to pull another upset as well.
Let's see. Going into Sunday's games, man. Going into
Sunday had some heavy
Sunday's
hitters.
games. Going into Sunday's
I know you guys
game,
are talking
there
quick.
was
Oh, go ahead.
uh,
Go ahead, Ez.
World
did
down.
we lose them? Oh,
Secondly,
there we go. Okay, it looks like we've lost him again.
Yeah, I think.
But until we, yeah, looks like his
Go ahead,
internet's
Joey.
going out again. But yeah, one team that really stood out to me on Sunday with their dominating performance that they did, Iowa State. Oh
Mm,
my gosh,
absolutely.
that Iowa State completely wiped the floor with Kentucky in the second half. I mean, keep in mind, Iowa State took one of their first leads of the game right there at halftime whenever Iowa State hit that buzzer beater to go up 31-30. Oh my gosh. In the second half, Iowa State completely blows Kentucky out of the arena, outscoring them 51-33 in the second half to win 82-63. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, what a dominating performance by Iowa State.
my internet
Uh
me tonight.
oh, there he is.
What were you saying there before you cut out again?
Well, let me try it before I do get cut off again, and before I throw my fist through this computer like Chuck Norris. Um, then again, you want to talk? Think you want to talk about high speed internet? But no, seriously, that Vanderbilt game we saw on Saturday night before Collision, that last
Yep.
couple of minutes you and I got to listen to slash watch together, man.
Yep.
That was a fucking highlight reel. That was one
Yes,
of
it was.
just from
Yes, it
that I could tell
was.
that was one of the best games of the weekend. It was super competitive. Both teams came in there, kicked ass. That is what the NCAA March Madness tournament is all about. Not just blowouts, not just upsets, but teams that go out there and they put on their best performances to date. And I felt like both of those teams did just that.
Absolutely. Both teams did do just that.
Joey, go ahead and continue to
Clearly,
talk, my friend.
yeah, yeah, clearly one of the best games on Saturday, but one game that definitely stood out to me on Sunday, and I was so glad that I was able to watch a good majority of this one. St. John's and Kansas. Holy cow, what a game that was. I mean, St. John's literally had them beat at one point 56-45 with like 6 minutes to go in the game. Here comes Kansas storming all the way back to tie it up. And then St. John's literally winning it on a game winning layup at the buzzer. You cannot ask for a better sports moment than that. But yeah, that was an all around great game. And then who would have thought Who would have thought that not just any number one seed, but last year's national champion being the first number one seed to lose, not even making it to the Sweet 16 this year, the Florida Gators losing to Iowa on a go ahead 3-pointer with like 2.1 seconds to go.
What I don't understand
Absolutely.
about what I don't understand
Oh,
about the defense of Florida, because then again, they never really played defense on the outside. The fact that Iowa drew up this play to get their guy the ball, and the Gators did not defend this well at all. Had a clear shot at the basket, shot it with rhythm, with confidence, and Iowa, just like that, knock off the defending champions, the Florida Gators, in one of the most shocking, stunning upsets of the entire tournament thus far. And we will already have a new champion because the defending champs are out of there just like that. And there for a while, it looked like Florida was going to squeak it out, but bad clock management, bad defensive possessions, bad offensive possessions, turning the basketball over. I mean, it just everything that did happen happened against Florida, causing them to lose this game. And shout outs to Iowa for that incredible performance and that poise to get over the hump to weather the storm, because Florida was on the ropes and then they threw their counter punch and then they went up 3, 4, 5, 6 points. And then Iowa threw their counter punch and then they got back in the game and then they ended up winning the game. I mean, it was a crazy game. And also, just like with the UNC VCU game, you got to make your free throws because missing those freebies can open the door. And that's what happened when Florida missed one of their two free throws to have a shot to put them up three, but missing that first free throw, that right there kept the door slightly open if Iowa decided to go for the three, which they did.
that's right. And I will say, me being an Alabama fan for the SEC, Florida was one team that I was able to look at quite a bit throughout this college basketball season. And one thing that I can conclude about Florida is the fact that everything that they do on both sides of the court has been inside. They do not have an outside game. No matter what people may try to tell you, no matter what stats you try to look up, Florida does not have an outside game. Everything that they were able to do this year on offense and defense was on the inside. Florida did not have an outside shooting game. They did not have a defense to play on the outside, and it came back and bit them in the place where the sun does not shine. So that was their ultimate downfall for the Florida Gators. Ultimate downfall for them. And then, like I just said, Bama, me being a Bama fan, the fact that they absolutely took Texas Tech to school in that 90-65 drubbing late Sunday night, it was just absolutely incredible to see this version of Alabama play the basketball that they have been meaning to play this entire year.
That looked like the Bama from a couple years ago when they were one of the number one overall seeds.
That's right. I mean, this looked
Talk.
like the Bama team. This looked like the Bama team that went to the Final Four 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm. And Houston dominated their game against the Texas A&M. Just
Yeah,
unbelievable performance by Houston. They just took command of the game, and Texas A&M could not get nothing going. Congrats to Houston on their big victory over the weekend, and also Michigan State beating Louisville. And this game was competitive for the first 40 minutes or 20 minutes, excuse me. But then in the second half, Michigan State just grabbed the bull by the horns and just took command of the second half, pulling away and defeating Louisville.
absolutely.
And like you
Ezra, if you're
mentioned,
still,
oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, Ezra, if you're still there before we preview the Sweet 16, do you have any thoughts?
Um, just I want to say from what I could tell from your guys' perspectives, there's a lot of great teams out there, and there's gonna be some. I think there's still gonna be some major surprises in this upcoming bracket. Um, especially now that the Gators are out, the defending champs are now gone. When I think there's gonna be an underdog team that's gonna take this, and I think it's gonna. I don't know who.
I think it's going to be Texas that makes another run.
I think you know what that's one of the teams I've been hearing a lot about is Texas, especially on social media.
It matters about who is hot at the right time, and Texas is already piping hot. I mean, they were slated to not get in. They beat NC State on a game winning shot, 68-66. And ever since then, they've been on this hot streak, winning their games, whether it be competitive, slightly pulling away. They have won every way imaginable thus far. And I think they're poised to make a run. And like last year we saw UConn, the defending champions of back-to-back years, get taken down last year thanks to Florida. And UConn's one of those teams. They're very well coached. Obviously, Dan Hurley is one of the best college coaches to do it, and him and his Huskies absolutely put the pedal to the metal on UCLA. They couldn't get nothing going in that second half because every time there for a while, it was very competitive, but then, just like the Michigan State Louisville game, UConn absolutely destroyed the Bruins and the late stages of that second half. So, yeah, as
Yep.
far as a team who can make an impact, I think Texas is probably the easiest bet on making a sudden impact in the rest of this tournament.
I can attest to that. So before we preview the Sweet 16, I got the schedule up right here for the games on Thursday and Friday real fast.
All right.
Texas and Purdue are going to kick us off on Thursday night at 7:10 on CBS. Iowa and Nebraska, 9 versus 4, will follow
rematch.
shortly after. Yeah, will follow shortly after at 7:30 on TBS Eastern Time, and of course, all these times are Eastern Time. After Texas and Purdue on CBS at 9:45 approximately, it's going to be Arkansas and Arizona on CBS, and then following Iowa and Nebraska on TBS at 10:05 approximately. The last game for Thursday night is going to be 3 versus 2, Illinois and Houston.
You know what? I think I got Arkansas defeating Arizona. I don't know, man. There's just something about Arizona. I do not trust them in a big spot. I really don't. I think John Calipari is going to bring his squad ready to prepare for battle.
I agree. John Calipari is a seasoned coach. He knows exactly in these situations what needs to be done. And I have a feeling Calipari and his, like you said, his squad, they're gonna come in. They're gonna showcase that you can do two things. You can underestimate us. You can see we're not good, but we'll prove to you that we could beat you. It's like the old school David versus Goliath story. Hell, and I'll give you a representation for all the wrestling fans in here. Rey Mysterio, Big Show. Right there and then. You can underestimate my size, you can underestimate my ability, but you'll never underestimate the size of my determination and my heart. And that's what I think that Calipari's squad has. A lot of heart and a lot of determination. And I think they might surprise Arizona and send them packing.
I said it on the show last week that Duke and Florida were going to be the two number one seeds that were going to be under the most pressure, and I was correct about that. I didn't say Arizona, but they're in there as well.
Do we want to do a quick since you're talking about preview? Oh, Joey, go ahead.
Real quick, let me give our Friday's games real fast.
Okay, go ahead, man. Go for it.
Friday's action. St. John's and Duke will be kicking it off on Friday night at 7:10 on CBS Eastern Time, of course. Then shortly after on TBS at 7:35 approximately is going to be Alabama against Michigan. 9:45 approximately on CBS following St. John's and Duke it's going to be Michigan State against UConn. And then closing out the night on Friday at approximately 10:10 Eastern Time on TBS is going to be Tennessee and Iowa State.
We got a good slate of games, man. Definitely, you know what? The game I'm most looking forward to out of all these, if I could pick one, is the fight. It's going to be the Fighting Illini taking on Houston. I think that this was a basketball team that's really, from what I could see from being from the Chicagoland area, even though I am an Indiana fan all the way through with my college sports, I will always be Indiana. Um, Illinois, the Fighting Illini, have really, really made it a splash here in the basketball world, and I have a feeling they could be the one that's be a team that, even as a number 3 ranked team, I have a feeling they could knock out some higher ranked competitors if they wanted to. I mean, this is a team that's got a lot of promise. It's got a lot of potential. I mean, look at how badly they took out VCU by 21 points in their last game, as I could tell by the bracket.
Yeah.
That's going to be a game I'm going to look forward
Yeah.
to watching for sure.
And talking about St. John's, the one thing that concerns me about them is that they got off to a very rocky start, and so did the Jayhawks on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
But if I am St. John's, you have got to have a more consistent outburst of offense against the Blue Devils, because if you keep missing shots and Duke keeps getting possession after possession with these one shot and you're done scenarios, Duke is going to put you in the rearview mirror and you're going to be done.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Joe, anything else before we do a little predictions on some of these games?
Nope, I'm good on
All
my
right.
end for as far as previews.
Okay, why don't we go ahead and do a little why don't we go ahead and do a little prediction? I don't care about, I mean, we usually sometimes do scores, but I think with this being so crazy, it could be, 100-60, but then it can also be 98-99. So with me, I
Yeah.
think with this one, I think we're just gonna pick the winner of the game. We're just gonna do that. Just to simplify it, make it easier. That way we could get through it. Because I know you're on limited time. So I want to make sure we get these done.
All right, and then after that, we can go around and give our picks as to who we think is going to win the whole thing.
Sounds good to me, Joe. Let's start it off. I'm going by the bracket. I'm not going by date of game, so just bear with me here. The first game we're going with is the Duke Blue Devils taking on St. John's.
I do think this is going to be an absolute barn burner of a game. I think that this is going to be one of the best games on Friday, if you ask me, because you've got an up and coming player who is a former Duke Blue Devil himself, in John Shire, facing a true tough test in front of him in the form of St. John's, who was led by soon to be college basketball Hall of Famer Rick Pitino.
Yep.
This is going to be a very, very close game, but I think Duke's going to pull this one out.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Duke as well. I think that St. John's is going to give him a pretty good fight. And like you said, with Rick Pitino behind him, you can't go wrong. But with a school like Duke, who their head coach is the successor to Coach K, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
John Shire took over
John
for Coach K.
Shire has been taking what Coach K did before and has elevated it. And from what I could tell from an outside perspective, the reason why Duke is number 1 right now. So I think in this one, Duke is still going to win it, but I don't think it's going to be by a large margin. I think it's going to be a lot closer than what people are going to give it credit for.
All right, Steven.
Give me Duke. I think it's going to be competitive, but I do think Duke is going to end up pulling away and winning by at least 8-9.
All right.
Cool. Next game is Michigan State and the UConn Huskies.
You know what? Give me Michigan State in a close one.
Ooh. Okay.
Okay.
I think Tom Izzo is going to figure out Dan Hurley and UConn's scheme. I think that he's going to have his kids ready to play, and I think Michigan State is going to stun UConn, winning by 4.
Okay.
All right. Well, Steven, I'm going against you in this one. I'm picking UConn.
Okay.
I'm picking UConn. Tom Izzo is a great coach. I'm not going to lie,
Mm-hmm.
but he has been known to struggle in big time games such as this one.
Yes, he has.
And Tom Izzo doesn't have the best success when it comes to the Sweet 16.
No, he does not. You are absolutely correct
So
about that.
I think UConn's going to come out. I think Michigan State is going to give them a run for their money, but I do think UConn's eventually going to pull away and win by like anywhere between 5 and 7 points.
All right.
You know what? Steven, you're on an island. I'm going UConn.
Okay.
I think, like Joey said, I think UConn is going to figure things out. I think they're going to really showcase the talent that they have on that team. And I give around the same number that Joey gave as far as score differential. It's going to be a close game. It's not going to be anything too outlandish. It's going to be a really high competitive game. So I'm going to go UConn in this one. All right. Next one is Iowa taking on Nebraska.
You know what?
Ooh,
Upset alert. Give me Nebraska to go on to the
ooh.
Elite Eight. And not just the Elite Eight, but I'm already calling it. Final Four, baby!
Wow.
Final Four. Nebraska.
Okay.
Yep.
You know what?
Go ahead. I got to think for a second.
I don't feel good about it. I honestly do not feel good about it, but it is Iowa who was a 9 and Nebraska who was a 4. You know what? I'm going with the team that has the best history. Give me the number 9 seeded Hawkeyes to win this one. Give me the Hawkeyes. They have the best history. Nebraska, they only have 2 wins, their first 2 wins in this year's tournament. But Iowa, they gave Nebraska some trouble in the regular season. So give me the
Mm-hmm.
Hawkeyes.
Yep, give me the Hawkeyes in this one too. I don't have too much to say about it as I'm not familiar with these teams, but I'm gonna go with kind of the way the number differential is. I do like underdog teams, and with a number 19 facing a number 4 team, I think this is gonna be one that's gonna bust some leftover brackets that still have a few names left. I think this is gonna kill some people's ideas of what this tournament may be.
Well, actually, by the way, before we move on to the next game, you know how many perfect brackets are left?
0.
None.
Yeah, they were broken. They were broken after the Vanderbilt game the other night.
Yeah, there
And
was also
if they weren't broken by the Vanderbilt Nebraska game or the freaking uh Tennessee Virginia game, then they were
That was
definitely.
the game that broke it. Tennessee and Virginia. That was the one that broke the last
yeah,
bracket.
though there were 4 perfect brackets going into that Tennessee and Virginia game. Tennessee beat Virginia, knocked out those 4 perfect brackets.
If it wasn't for that game, it was definitely the icing on the cake was the Florida loss to Iowa. Crazy.
And then the next game we're gonna go to is the Fighting Illini taking on Houston.
Give me Houston by double digits. Give me Houston by 13.
Give me the
Whoa.
give me the Illini by 6.
Give me
Okay.
the Illini by 7.
All right.
What? This is like 2 games in a row, 3 games in a row. Steven's left on an island.
What is it? What is this? The NFL pick segment?
Wait. But the question is, how does he even know he's on an island? Sorry, couldn't resist that. That was lying right there for the bomb to be flipped. All right, next game. Arizona, Arkansas.
Give me Arizona. Not Arizona. Give me Arkansas. Arkansas on a game-winning 3 by 1.
As the great Metallica once said, don't fuck with Razorback. I'm going with Arkansas.
Yes.
Give me Arkansas by 3.
All right.
Well, I will say one thing. For this one game, I am on an island. Give me Arizona to win this game. I
Okay.
have, for some reason, I have faith in Arizona to win this game, and I think they're going to go in there and just show everybody that you cannot mess with Arizona, at least for this one game.
Yeah, and I believe your faith is very misguided, but what else is new?
Eh.
No, no, I'm kidding. Um, yeah, so that should be an interesting one. Next up is the Longhorns. Hook 'em if you're Mark Henry, taking on the Purdue Boilermakers.
Don't get me wrong. Texas has been on a phenomenal run so far in this tournament. And as much as I hate to pick the Big Ten over the SEC, I got to go with Purdue in this one because Purdue is just a complete team. They play both ends of the floor to the best of their ability. And I think Texas's run is going to come to an end at the hands of Purdue.
Yeah, give me Texas to fall in this one. I think their Cinderella run is going to come to an end. They've had a great run. I think it's going to be close. They got nothing to be ashamed of themselves, but I think that Purdue is going to move on to the Elite Eight.
You know what? Give me Purdue. Um, just I've read some stuff about Purdue recently and how dominant they've been in basketball. Because obviously I watch, of course, I have my local news channel, so I hear a lot about it. So definitely gonna go with them. No offense to Texas. Texas has been on a hell of a run, but I think it stops here. Next game is, of course, a rivalry that dates back to not only basketball, but sometimes even football if you want to go cross boundaries. Michigan and Alabama.
Give me Michigan by 5.
I got to think about this one for a minute.
I would be surprised if you did not pick Alabama because you're Crimson Tide all the way. Because I know
But
you're
Ezra,
okay.
go ahead and give your pick.
It's gonna be a tough one. Michigan has been on fire. They've done a really good job. But Alabama's been pretty consistent lately. It's a tough one. You know what? I usually don't do this, but I'm going to go against the grain. I'm going to go Crimson Tide
Wow.
by
Okay.
Wow.
by at the most 3. Lowest, 1 point.
You know, with this game, as far as Alabama is concerned, I have one question for them. Which version of this Alabama team is going to come out and play? Is it going to be the Bama team that struggled against Ole Miss in the SEC tournament quarterfinals? Or is this going to be the dominant team that we saw against Texas Tech on Sunday night in that 25-point blowout? Alabama has been consistent in several games, but they've also shown signs of inconsistency. And I saw this Michigan team against St. Louis, and this Michigan team looked absolutely complete in both ends of the court, on both ends of the court. So I want to see Alabama win, and I would love to see Alabama win, but I've got to go with my gut, and I got to pick Michigan.
Okay.
I gotta pick Michigan. I think it's gonna be close, but I think Michigan's gonna pull this one out. But don't get me wrong, I'm gonna pull for Bama though. All right, which brings us to our final game on Friday, and that of course is Tennessee and Iowa State.
You know what?
And
Give me Iowa State.
yep, I agree. Iowa State looked very, very sharp against Kentucky in their round of 32 game, and I think Tennessee is going to meet their bitter end. I think Iowa State is a very complete team. Iowa State has all the momentum on their side right now. So give me Iowa State.
Yeah, I think Iowa State's going to pull this out by at least 7 points.
At least.
I mean, the way they looked against Kentucky, give me a break. I mean, they made Kentucky look putrid in that second half. And that was a
Yes,
game
they
that kind of
did.
jumped off the grid to me too because they were up 18-6, and then Iowa State just blitzed them in the second half.
Yep. So until we get Ezra back, or actually looks like he is back, let's go ahead and give our thoughts as to who we think is going to win this whole tournament. Steven, you want to take first crack?
Oh man. I'm gonna say Duke because on paper they look like they're the better overall team, but as we all know, that doesn't mean nothing come tournament time. Anybody can win this bad boy. I do think that Duke is going to win this, but I would not be surprised in the slightest if UConn wins it again.
All right. Well, I will say that two of my Final Four teams are gone. Those being Florida and I know this other Final Four team is probably going to surprise you, but I have Virginia going to the Final Four.
Wow.
But yep, those two are gone. But thankfully, I did not have those two make it into the championship because my other two Final Four teams that I picked from the very beginning of this tournament are both still in. And I made this pick before the first game tipped off on day one, and I'm sticking with it. The one team that I think is going to win this NCAA tournament is the one, the only Arizona Wildcats.
Wow. Interesting. All right.
I think Arizona looks to be the team that can shut up all of their haters, and I think they are going to beat my other national championship team, UConn.
Good game. That would be a good game.
Yes. I picked Arizona and UConn in the national championship from day one, and I'm sticking with it. Give me Arizona to win this whole thing. And this will be their first NCAA tournament win in 30 years if they can pull it off, which is
Okay.
something that Dallas Cowboy fans cannot say.
Of course, you had to throw a Cowboys jab in that out. Of course.
Of course, I had to.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
But real quick, before I do have to get off here, let's hop on over to the NFL and talk about that big name contract that was signed by a young wide receiver earlier today by the name of Mr. Jackson Smith in Jigba.
Woo! My man got paid today.
4 years, $168.6 million contract with $120 million guaranteed. That boy got paid.
Get that money, man. Get it. Get it.
I mean, the guy absolutely deserves it. I mean, as soon as Seattle gave up or let Tyler Lockett walk in free agency, and as soon as they traded DK Metcalf to Pittsburgh, Smith and Jigba, or JSN as people like to call him, he knew that he had to step up his game and be that true number one receiver that Seattle expected him to be whenever they drafted him in the third round at the draft a few years ago. And Smith and Jigba, or JSN, has not disappointed.
Look what
He
this
has
dude can
gone
do.
out. Yeah, he has gone out and played like the playmaker that he is supposed to be. He is that number one receiver that Seattle was looking for. And how does he get rewarded? With number one wide receiver money.
I mean, look at this dude's credentials. I mean, the way he can play on the field. The reason why he got paid. For one, he's a great athlete. Number two, he's a great receiver. Number three, he can play all different sides of the field. He can be a vertical receiver. He could be in the slot. He could be on the inside, the outside. You can put him in the backfield to run end arounds. I mean, just what a great player Jackson Smith and Jigba is. He deserves his contract. He won a Super Bowl last year again, just like the Cowboys haven't done in the last 30 years. So what a great day for JSN and the Seahawks getting that man his big fat contract, and he deserves it.
Boys will never do it. I'm back.
All right, but yeah, as you can tell, we were talking about the big JSN contract.
Oh, dude, man deserved it. Dude, and this is something I learned from listening to Dan Orlovsky the other day on Get Up. And that is that, and no, Get Up is not the thing Steven has trouble with when he meets a woman. But after all, there's a reason. There's a reason why his drumsticks are always rigid. But anyways, look.
But real quick, before you dive too deep into the JSN contract,
Oh, drive
whenever
too
you were
deep.
going, but yeah, whenever you were going out or going in and out,
Going in and
you
out.
were unable to give your prediction as to who you think is going to win the tournament, March Madness tournament. So who you think is going to win it, Ezra?
March Madness. That's a toughen. That is a tough one. You know what? I think they're on such a hot streak. I think it's hard for them to get cooled down. I'm gonna go with Duke. I think
All right, I believe.
Duke's got an opportunity to win it all, and I think they will.
All right, well, I believe Stephen, you also said Duke, if I'm not mistaken.
I did, yes.
I did. All right, well, I'm not sure if you heard my pick, but
No,
I
I
told
completely had
Stephen.
to restart everything, and it's been a nightmare. So, all right. Sorry,
Yeah,
Joey.
but it's all right. I told Stephen that two of my Final Four teams are gone with Florida and Virginia, but thankfully I did not have those two make it to the national championship because I had this national championship game picked since day one before the first game even tipped off, and I am sticking with it. I'm going with Arizona over UConn in the national championship.
Ooh, I like that. Okay.
I've had that pick since day one, and I'm sticking with it.
Okay, I like that. back to the JSN conversation, he definitely deserved it. Guy who didn't have a lot of production, but he made up for it with how many yards he got in that production. And
Yeah.
man, at close to 2,000 yards this past season, he had I think over 1,700 yards rushing or 1,700 yards passing. And to me, he's one of the best wide receivers in the game for none. Hence why he reset the market with this deal. 42.15 million a year. Basically 120 million of that money is guaranteed, making him the highest paid wide receiver in the history of the NFL, resetting the market. And there's going to be a lot of players in the future going to be looking for that contract, but they better have the ability that JSN has, being able to be open on those routes, being able to get out there in the backfield and get big catches, because that's what he's known to do. He may not have had a lot of time out there because obviously with the Seahawks mainly being a running team with Chardonnay and at the time before he was left to walk, Kenneth Walker. I think that despite not having much production, he was able to make up for it with the amount of yards he did per pass and per yards after contact. I think he was able to really make up with that, and that's why he got the big payday that he did, and he definitely deserves it.
But with this big payday that JSN has now signed, it now leaves as a burning question to the other NFL franchises who have superstar number one receivers. I mean, what's going to be next for them? And one team that really stands out to me as far as having two top wide receivers given their history, and it's funny how they always find a way into our conversations on the sports show week in and week out. But I'm not being funny on this one. I'm being realistic. The Dallas Cowboys. They have both CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. Now that CD and now that Pickens, who is playing on the franchise tag this season, see this contract that JSN has now signed, it's only going to be a matter of time before one of them or both of them try to seek out equal numbers. But here lies the problem. Dallas will not have the space to sign both of them. They will not.
Somebody's going to have to take a massive pay cut.
So my question to Jerry Jones is, with CeeDee Lamb having to have his contract restructured the past 2 years, and now George Pickens playing on the franchise tag, who do you want to keep around more, CD or Pickens? You got to pick one of them. You can't have both, especially not after this big contract that JSN just signed.
This just reset the entire market for wide receivers. And everybody knows, everybody wants to get paid that big fat contract.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Very well done with the Enzo reference, by the way.
Well, thank you.
And real quick before I do get off here,
I just wanna get off.
Well, I will say this one came as a little bit of a shock to me because I found this one out through email, but we're going to have another B-Rob situation in the NFC, only this time it's going to be on the same team. The Falcons have signed, not only have Bijan Robinson, but they now have former Commanders and former 49ers running back Brian Robinson Jr. signed to a 1-year deal today.
Two Robinsons.
Two B-Robs in Atlanta.
Mrs. Robinson.
You gotta love it.
That's cool, man.
Gotta love it.
Also, real quick, Joey, before you go too, as well. What about the news that Cincinnati has re-signed Joe Flacco to a 1 year contract.
Well, best of luck to you facing him. Because if Aaron Rodgers comes back, then if Aaron Rodgers comes back to Pittsburgh, then Rodgers and Flacco will both be in the same situation,
Yep.
facing, uh, or for Rodgers' sake, it would be facing Hendrickson and Garrett in back-to-back games, in back-to-back or twice a year. But for Flacco, it's going to be Hendrickson, Garrett, and Watt. Same situation as Joe Burrow. So best of luck to you, buddy.
Icy
'Cause
hot bowl.
he gonna need it.
He's gonna need it. Oh, but I will say real quick, and then I really got to get off here. There is a sport that's going to be starting up, I believe, tomorrow with a few games, and is really going to kick off on Thursday, and that is Major League Baseball coming back.
Yes, it is.
Opening day. Yep, it's coming real soon here.
It's coming up tomorrow, actually.
Yes, sir.
So obviously, me being a Braves fan, I'm hoping we go far. I'm hoping we have a much better year than last year. And that's pretty much all. That's pretty much all I can say right now. I mean, we're already battling some injuries. So I'm hoping we'll get those injured players back soon.
The Jerkson Profar suspension.
Yeah, the Jerkson Profar suspension. We might as well just go ahead and just let him go because he's been suspended more games than what he's played for us.
Didn't he just sign a big ass extension too?
Something like that.
Yeah, he signed a big ass contract, and in the back to back years, he's been suspended. He got suspended like what 30 games last year. This year he gets
80 games last year actually.
80 games last year, and in this year he's sitting out the whole season and is not even eligible for the playoffs because of if they make it that far because of that reason. I'm like, what are you doing, dude?
He's being an absolute idiot. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Speaking of absolute idiots, I got an absolute idiot making the top of my list, and that is former Alabama player Aiden Holloway, who was kicked off the team or as they're being arrested for having 2 pounds of marijuana stoked in his apartment, where the police found it. So a 19-year-old player having 2 pounds of marijuana in his apartment. Nice job, idiot.
Stop with the weed, as Stephen A. Smith would say.
Or solitaire, as we
All
say
right.
with Stephen A.
All right, guys, that's gonna do it for me tonight. I gotta get off here because we got some work to do real fast before we call it a night.
Okay, brother.
All right, dude.
All right, peace out, guys.
All right,
y'all have a great rest of the show.
Yep.
Will do. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I think my internet has finally stabilized itself. What I did was I reset the network adapter.
Uh-huh.
Maybe that fixed a few things. I don't know, because my internet's coming in a little bit more stable now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was about ready to go get me a network extender, but I'm not paying fucking $70. They can go suck a dick on that one. But anyways, enough about my internet troubles. Let's get into the more sports stories and let's get into let's talk about the new deal for one Travis Kelce. He's got a brand new 3-year deal. I believe it's 54 or 58 million.
57, I believe.
57. Yeah, you're right. Somewhere around there. 57 million.
But still, the fact that there was all these rumors, going around saying that Kelce, I think, is going to retire. We thought he was retiring. Then he said, no, I'm coming back. But not only is he coming back, but he could come back to upwards to 3 more seasons. I mean, my goodness. I mean, he's won so many Super Bowls. He's about to be married to the most famous person in the music business in Taylor Swift.
The most famous person on the planet.
Yes. And to be married to her billions, and all of that. And the fact that he still wants to play, kudos to that guy. Because that just goes to show you that football is in his DNA.
Yeah, absolutely. And he wants to play the game. He wants to be able to do what he does. And
Hey, good for him.
yep, and he does it well. All the best to Kelsey. But
Mm-hmm.
this is big, especially with the new additions the Chiefs have added, to their lineup. And now with Travis there, that team's gonna be a
And
little
you
bit.
got Kenneth Walker there.
You got Kenneth Walker there, and it's gonna make that team a lot more dangerous going forward. So
Oh, yeah.
anybody who is in the AFC who's got to deal with them. And by the way, that deal with Joe Flacco was a 6-year deal that could be worth up to $9 billion
Damn!
if he makes some incentives. If he makes some qualifications to get that extra money. So, just wanted to point that out there. In other news, after 14 NFL seasons, Buccaneers linebacker Levante David has announced that he is hanging up the cleats.
What a physical specimen that guy is. I mean, one of the best defensive players to play the sport. Won a Super Bowl back in 2021 with the great Tom Brady at quarterback. And obviously, Levante David obviously was one of the co-captains on that defensive side for the Buccaneers. Just what a great player. What a great career. And he definitely followed in the footsteps of the great Warren Sapp and Derek Brooks.
Yep, absolutely. Of course, Derek Brooks, former guest on Busted Open as well. And a friend of Dave LaGreca. Happy 50th birthday to one of the legends of the sport, the icon himself, Peyton Manning. Celebrating a big
Yes.
5-0 today. Also, Trevor Siemian, former quarterback for the Denver Broncos at one point, is now signing with the Falcons to help out and back up both Michael Penix and Tua, I have no brain, Tagovailoa.
Atlanta, sorry, not sorry. You are fucked.
Sorry about your damn luck. Let's see here. Also, let's see here. I'm checking real quick through Shefty's Twitter account, see what else I could find real quick. The UFL is launching this week, and they have announced their halftime shows for the home openers for each team.
Okay.
Stallions will have one of the legends of 2000s hip hop, Gucci Mane.
Really? That dude's still around?
The Aviators will have rock, country, little mix of everything, folk, Mr. Gavin DeGraw.
Okay.
Ty Myers will be the halftime show for the Renegades. For the Defenders, wrestling fan extraordinaire, the host of Wale Mania, Wale.
Hey, must be the Wale. Oh, sorry.
Well, there's some involvement with the man's song you just parodied, which is
Aha, really?
yes, you'll find out in a second. The Gamblers will have Ludacris opening up for them.
Nice.
The Kings will have rising country music star Russell Dickerson.
Okay.
He's really good. The UFL Storm will have DJ Khaled.
Oh, dear God.
And the Battlehawks will have Nelly
Wow.
and the Saint Lunatics.
Hey, they'll be open.
Yep.
Open for business.
Yes, sir. Let's see here. Real quick before we move on here. The 49ers are opting not to exercise the $10 million option bonus in Trent Williams' contract, but they're still wanting to re-sign the veteran player. So we'll see what happens. We're going to keep an eye on that. That's going to be a big story going forward on what happens to Trent Williams.
Absolutely.
The physicals were done with Andy Dalton joining the Eagles. The physicals are done. He's all good. So now Andy Dalton is an Eagle.
He is now out of hell. Sorry, Carolina.
Yep. The Jaguars are signing Seahawks restricted free agent wide receiver Jake Bobo to an offer sheet.
Okay.
Seattle has 5 days to decide on whether to match the offer. That was a couple days ago, but I thought I saw something about. I'm looking real quick. Just give me a second. Sorry about that, folks. We're not trying to keep dead air on here. We're trying to make sure
I
that
probably wouldn't be surprised if they don't match it because obviously they just got tied up with Jackson Smith and Jigba with that
Ooh,
massive contract.
wrong. Seattle has matched the offer.
Oh, okay.
Yep. They have matched the offer to retain Jake Bobo. So, let's see here. Let's see NFL on. Let's see here. Oh, Tabor Pepper, the 49ers long snapper. It was signed with Miami.
Well, they should pay him a lot of money because he's going to be getting a lot of kicks.
Yeah, he's gonna be snapping that ball off. Yeah. The Eagles reached an agreement with former Texas running back Damian Pierce.
Nice move by Philly. Wow.
Yep. So they got him for 1 year. Former Buccaneers free agent cornerback Kendall Vildor is signing a 1-year deal with the Patriots. Let's see here. Oh yeah, Cowboys and Bengals linebacker Logan Wilson has decided to hang up the cleats as well. At only the tender age of 29 years old, he's decided to walk away from football. Let's see here real quick. Justin Fields passed his physical, and the trade is official. So Justin Fields is now one of the backups for Patrick Mahomes, and the Jets, of course, received the 6th-round pick for next year. And then finally, to end the NFL talk for today, as far as big news notes, former Indianapolis Colts star player T.Y. Hilton has officially announced his retirement.
Oh, wow. What a career.
Yep, man who played hard. He played great ball. One of the true legends of Indianapolis for sure. Guy played like a beast anytime he was out there. So all the best to T.Y. Hilton as he enters a new world, retirement. So and that's it in the world of the NFL. Let's close it out, or not. Well, yeah, kind of close it out with NBA news. And of course, the biggest news was the news we got last night. And that was the unfortunate gruesome injury to Golden State Warriors player Moses Moody.
This is bad.
It was a very bad knee injury to the point where his kneecap basically was near his quad. Come to find out, he had completely torn his patellar tendon. Very similar injury that the world's strongest man, Mark Henry, had many years ago in 2006. That kept him out for most of the year. So
yeah, just the unfortunate timing and the Golden State Warriors have been snake bitten by the injury bug, just like the San Francisco 49ers were a year ago. And just it's unfortunate, but this is what sports is. It can be very physical. It can be a very dangerous game to play, no matter what it is, football, basketball, hockey, you name it. I mean, these guys and these girls, they put their lives on the line. They go out there and they play these great sports for our entertainment. But at the end of the day, things like this happen. And it's unfortunate. It sucks. And we wish him in his best with his recovery.
yeah. Right here. Let's see. There is one thing that involves basketball, but it also bleeds into the world of professional wrestling. And Steven, I think you have an idea what I'm talking about, and that is that it was announced earlier this week by Shams Charania, believe it or not, that Chicago Bulls legend and Naismith Basketball Hall of Famer, the Worm, Dennis Rodman, will be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2026 alongside the phenomenal AJ Styles, Stephanie McMahon, and Demolition. And also quickly announced today on the show,
Psycho Sid was also announced.
Psycho Sid Udy, will go in posthumously as a member of the legacy group of WWE Hall of Famers. But definitely big ups to Dennis Rodman, of course, famously skipped a Bulls game to go to WCW and be out there with Hulk Hogan and join the NWO for the night.
Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if DDP inducts Dennis Rodman.
Yep. Unfortunately, now that Hulk Hogan has passed on, that's not going to be possible. But maybe even Nash, who was a part of NWO in some form.
Sure.
We could have Nash. I mean, obviously, but the Worm will be inducted into the Hall of Fame alongside some of the legends of the sport. So congratulations to the Worm. We do have other NBA news. I just pulled this up. Jalen Williams is off the injury report for Oklahoma City and will return. And he returned to action Monday against the 76ers. He had missed the past 5+ weeks due to a hamstring strain. So, so Jalen Williams is officially back.
Fortunately for him, because Oklahoma City, they might be the defending champs and they're still playing great ball, but they gotta have their weapons locked and ready to go come postseason time, which will be coming up here very soon.
Yep, absolutely. Let's see here. Also, too, former #1 pick Markelle Fultz is signing a 10-day contract with the Toronto Raptors.
Mm-hmm.
Fultz joins Toronto for his 9th NBA season after spending time with the Raptors' 905 G League team. Let's see here. Also, the Milwaukee Bucks are waiving Cam Thomas just weeks after signing him. Let's see what else here. Arkansas freshman star Darius Acuff Jr. has landed a signature shoe deal with Reebok, becoming the first NCAA men's athlete to receive one from a major U.S. brand while still in college.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yep. It says here a note from the there was a report that the Milwaukee Bucks have desires to shut down Giannis for the remainder of the season, even though Giannis wants to play. This is the statement that came out from the NBA PA or from the NBPA. The player participation policy was designed by the league to hold teams accountable to ensure that when an all-star like Giannis is healthy and ready to play, he is on the court. Unfortunately, anti-tanking policies are only as effective as their enforcement. Fans, broadcast partners, and the integrity of the game itself will continue to suffer as long as ownership goes unchecked. We look forward to collaborating with the NBA on meaningful new proposals that will directly address and discourage tanking.
We talked about this when this became a story a couple of months ago. This tanking has got to stop. It is ridiculous.
It's not good for the game. Because
again, like we talked about when we went into this some more, I believe this was following the Super Bowl, but Adam Silver has got to get a hold on his respective coaches, coaching staffs, and players and tell everybody, if I see anybody is not out there trying their hardest, you're suspended for a game or two. Because this blatant tanking, it is humiliating that this continuously goes on. Now, not only that, but the fact that tickets are so damn expensive these days. Let's say you spend your hard-earned money to go to a basketball game, and let's say Victor Wembanyama for the Spurs. His team is playing
Yeah.
the Los Angeles Lakers. And the Lakers and the Spurs both played a back-to-back. Their first of a two back-to-back. They're coming on to the next game in LA. When Benyama is not playing, LeBron's not playing. People would be pissed. The average casual fan would be pissed, and rightly so. Because when Benyama sitting, LeBron sitting. You spent all of this money to go to this game, taking all the time to be with your family, your friends, to take off, to go enjoy your entertainment for the night, to take off, time and quit dealing with the bullshit that goes on in the outside world just to get away from it and all the nonsense that goes on every day. And oh, these guys aren't playing. This is bullshit. I just spent whatever money on these tickets and they're not playing. Well, you should be taking a hit in your pocket because you're not going to play. We ain't going to pay you. But if you do it multiply that. Let's say you take off 2-3 games in a row. Let's say there's a 3 games in a row. You play one, take the other 2 off. All right, you ain't getting paid, and then you're going to get hit with a fine or a suspension. It's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. Because the fact that these players are not held accountable with the money coming out of their pockets, as of now, that hasn't been happening yet. But I guarantee you, if you take a hit in their pockets, they're going to be like, yeah, I'll play. What a joke.
Yeah, it's a joke. It's kind of like my internet.
But anyways, I think that's going to do it for the night. Anything else you want to talk about? Oh, gotta love internet problems. Gotta love it. Just when you think you got it resolved, the internet says, screw you, I quit. And there he goes again. Sorry about that, folks. It happens like that sometimes. Stuff happens. We're live. But anyways, I think that is going to do it for tonight because we covered a lot of things here tonight. And I think we're going to...
Let's try this again. Good Lord. But no, I don't have anything else. I think we're good.
Yeah, I think we're good too.
But go ahead, Steve. Close it out like you do. That's
Yep.
so flustered by this internet shit. I forgot about the damn format of this show.
It's okay. It's okay. We're live. Stuff happens. But great show. Great show. Glad Joey could hop on. For those that tune in live and on demand, thank you very much as well. I know our very own Kevin's not feeling very well, and hopefully he'll be able to join us here soon. And hopefully he enjoyed the show tonight. And looking forward to this March Madness continuing this upcoming weekend. And also the Elite Eight is going to be Saturday and Sunday following the Sweet 16. So hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend, upcoming weekend. And you can follow us on Twitter or X at Owen_Sports Show, Facebook.com/Nation Sports Show, and where we are live on most Tuesday nights at YouTube.com/Nation Sports Show. Be sure to like, share, subscribe to all your family and your friends that love the world of sports. You can also follow the Nation's Corner on Twitter at Nation's Corner, everywhere else on the Instagram, the Facebook, and the YouTube channel where they are mostly live on Saturday nights. It is YouTube, the Instagram, and the Facebook are all at the Nation's Corner. And with that being said, let's get this show out of here. Ezra, wrap us up, my friend.
Yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up before my internet goes out again, motherfucker. Thank you so much to everybody for coming on the show. We appreciate it. You know, it's always fun to do it with Steven and everybody involved. Don't forget to follow us on our social medias, of course. Don't forget to follow Too Sweet Cosplay as we get prepared for the biggest con of the year for us, C2E2. Coming to you from McCormick Place in Chicago, Illinois. My crew will be there. It's going to be a fun time. We got our fan booth back this year. If you're going to be in the Chicago area, get yourself a 3-day pass. They're almost sold out. Come on in and then check out the sites. There's everything for everybody. There's anime, there's movies, pop culture, all of the sorts of stuff. There's even a panel on heavy metal in pop culture, which is pretty damn cool, and I might go see that. But you know, it's gonna be an awesome weekend. I'm excited. I know everybody else is excited. It's gonna be a grand time. Trust me on that. And we're gonna have fun. Our fan booth's gonna be there. New backdrop, pictures with the titles, free daily raffles, all that good stuff. C2E2.com to get tickets. And drop by, go buy pro wrestling tees and everything else. Enjoy the weekend. Yeah, but that's enough for me. And so with that being said, for Joey Thornton, for Kevin Rory, for Stephen Wyand, for Hijacker Mike, by the way, Smoke N the Bay, Smoke NTHABAY, for all your cigar needs, if you're a cigar aficionado or just a casual smoker, he's got some cigars for you. He's got some new updated content. Check it out. So for him as well as everybody in the Sports Show Nation, I am Ezra Vickery. We'll see you next time for another great edition of our Nation's Sports Show. Take care, everybody. Have a great weekend, and we will see you all next Tuesday. Same time, same YouTube channel.
Turn me up. Turn me up. Turn me up. Turn me up.
Thanks for watching this week's featured presentation of our Nation Sports Show.